Hi guys, I'm Jay and welcome to Level Gaming Field. Thanks for joining me for this Shaking Tree guide. You're likely trying to perfect the pokedexes of these tree Pokemon and increase the shiny rates. So with that in mind, we'll cover each Pokemon that you can find in a Shaking Tree. We'll cover the best locations to target these Pokemon, then check out their perfect pokedex challenges and look at the ones which are best to tackle at the same time. Then finish by looking at the best way to reset the trees, plus any little general tips that may help. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Starting with by far the most common tree Pokemon, it's Little Burmy. You're probably sick of the sight of this guy, but he can only be found in trees, which makes his shiny pretty hard to find. And if you really do like a challenge, you'll be looking for all 3 different colours available as well. I've added the colours to the image, so if you are targeting a specific colour, you'll know which zone to check out. However, if you're just looking for any old Burmy, I've highlighted what I think are the key areas to find this Pokemon most of the time. It's the Deer Track Path, Deer Track Heights, Nature's Pantry, pretty much any part of the middle section of the Obsidian Fieldlands. If you find a Pokemon there, it will very likely be Burmy. You'll need to see a total of 25 leap out of trees. However, you also have to catch 25 and defeat 25, and 20 of those with flying type moves. So bear that in mind while you're doing it. So realistically, you're going to have to see 50 leap out of trees to perfect the whole Pokedex. And you'll need to see 3 different forms as well, so 1 of each colour. Wormadam is one of the evolved forms of Burmy, and apart from evolving a female Burmy, you can only find these in trees, you cannot find these in the open. Male evolutions into Mothim cannot be found in trees, and therefore we won't cover them in this video. As with Burmy, Wormadam has 3 different colours as well, but if you are trying to target just any Wormadam, I would look at the Sandgem Flats area of the Obsidian Fieldlands. This is the patch of land between the Alpha Snorlax all the way down to the Alpha Alakazam, and also on the top of the rocks where the Togekiss is flying around, where the Staraptors and the Luxray are. These areas you will pretty much be guaranteed to get a Wormadam if you find a Shaking Tree there. You'll only need to see 15 of these leap out of trees. However, you do need to catch 15 and also defeat 25 of them, 20 of which with fire type moves. A good idea is to evolve the female Burmy into Wormadam to clear the catch count. And when you do see a Wormadam leap from a tree, focus on KOing them with fire type moves and finish the catch count after. Moving on to Cherubi. Although it is possible to have Cherubi outbreaks, it is very rare and you still need to see some leap out of trees. The Pokedex displays the general areas that can be found. However, I've highlighted the specific areas in purple, which I found to be the most fruitful places to find it, no pun intended. You can find them in a few more locations, but the chances aren't as good. So if you are targeting Cherubi, just target those purple areas and you should be able to complete your Pokedex in no time. You need to see 15 leap out of trees, which adds up to the 10 you have to catch and the 5 you need to defeat. So if you make sure you do catch 10 and defeat 5 from the 15 that you find, you'll have completed all 3 lines of that Pokedex. Cherrim is the evolved form of Cherubi, as you all know, but for some reason it is actually easier to find in a Shaking Tree than Cherubi. The Pokedex offers the same locations as it does for Cherubi. However, if you are hunting just for Cherrim, your best friend will be the Coronet Highlands. And if you find the Shaking Tree between the Fabled Spring and the Boldroll Ravine, in the purple section just there, it will very likely be a Cherrim. You'll need to see a total of 15 leap out of trees. To get your perfect Dex as quick as possible, you're probably going to want to defeat the first 5 that you find, catch the next 10, and fill in any gaps by evolving your other Cherubi in daylight hours. All Pokemon from this point can be found in the open world, so we'll just focus on where to find them to achieve the leap out of trees section of the Pokedex. Combee can be found in large sections of the first 2 areas, and also a small section of the 3rd area, right at the bottom of Aipom Hill. The first 2 areas are the places where you're probably going to have the best luck. There's a lot more trees available. Raminus Island trees are almost always Combee, but make sure to check the Cotton Sedge and the Droning Meadows area on the 2nd zone, because if you don't find a Combee, you're likely going to find an even rarer Pokemon. There's a requirement to see 40 of these leap out of trees. However, I wouldn't worry too much about catching them or defeating them with Rock type, as you can catch up on this as there's plenty of Combee out in the open. Having said that, keep a lookout for the female ones, as you'll need these to complete the evolution requirement. The ideal Vespiquen locations actually mirrors what the Pokedex says. I would advise starting at the top of Lake Valor, just where the purple part is there, and work your way all the way down to the bottom of the map. This is a very tough one to find, and you'll need patience for it. You'll need to see 5 leap out of trees, which is tougher than it sounds. However, there are a couple of Vespiquen out in the open, including Alpha, which will help you with the catch count, the heavy catch count, defeating them and also taking them out with fire moves. Moving on to Pachirisu, the Pokedex suggests you can only catch this one in the Droning Meadow, however you can find him in Shaking Trees in other places. The Droning Meadow is one of the better places, along with the southern part of the Gatejaw Bog, where the Alpha Pachirisu resides. You'll need to see 25 leap out of trees, which is a tough challenge. However, if you keep targeting those areas, this shouldn't take too long. Heracross I found to be one of the easiest challenges to complete. This is despite its low range of locations. This is because the probability of finding a Heracross in those locations is quite high. The first location is outside the north entrance to the main cave and spreading around the water bay. The second location is a valley that contains the campsite near the Lonely Spring and the Luxio and Ursa ring spawns. You'll need to see 15 leap out of trees. However, to complete your other Pokedex challenges, there are plenty in the open world, including an Alpha in the first zone. Finally, we come to Aipom, which has to be the most difficult tree Pokedex challenge. This is because there is only a single area that you can actually find this Pokemon in a tree. Not so surprisingly, it's Aipom Hill. Even targeting this area, it will take a while because there is only less than a handful of trees in this location. You'll need to find 15 in total. However, there are plenty around the open world of which you can do the other challenges with. So that covers the Pokemon. Let's look at resetting the trees. Quite simply, the best method is to exit to Jubilife Village and return, in my experience. Try to maintain a high vantage point as much as possible. This will help you see more of the open world and therefore cover more trees in the background. However, be careful not to go too high in the air, as you don't want to miss out on any open world shiny sparkles. Another good thing to do is to try and keep a still screen as much as possible. By this, I mean try and limit the left and right movements that you do. Try and maintain a forward movement. This will help you see any shaking trees in the background. Another thing that I like to do is after I finish something like doing a mass outbreak, I will have a quick scan of the area. I'll plan a route, so I'll normally start from high ground all the way to the bottom ground, so probably the north of your map all the way down to the south of your map, and try to make sure you cover all the main areas with the Pokemon that you're looking for. And finally, if you do a lot of massive mass outbreaks, you probably won't have time to open the trees up as you're looking around and go into your next outbreak. Open the map and put a marker on there, and then after you finish your mass outbreak, you can go to the markers that you've found to quickly spot the trees that you've seen. If you've made it this far, thanks very much. I hope I've managed to help in some way. If I've missed something or you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments, and happy gaming, guys.